Right out here on exit 135 in Mayflower near the Northwood subdivision. As you can see behind me, there's a lot going on. You have a lot of people out here working hard to contain this oil spill. It's very large and the smell, like I said before, is very strong. We're told it's moving very quickly, and the primary goal right now is to keep it from going into Lake Conway. We don't know at this point, this is from the Game and Fish Commission, how likely that is, but it is definitely a potential problem that they're trying to prevent here. We don't know how this oil spill started or how big it is. We're just told that it is large and that it is moving very quickly. Of course, one of the questions being asked is what is the danger of this oil spill? It's surrounding a lot of homes, but we don't know what the potential risk is, besides the fact that it is, of course, an inconvenience. We'll try to have some answers for you about the likelihood, the risks that this poses for some of the residents here, as well as Lake Conway, coming up at 6. Back to you.
Oil began leaking after an Exxon crude oil pipeline ruptured near Mayflower. Channel 7's Jeanette Reyes joins us live to tell us the latest. Jeanette?
Scott and Christina, I'm at the other end of this oil spill. It started about less than a mile from here. So I'm here where they've had the latest information here as far as what the status of this oil spill is. Joins me now is Alan Dawson. He's the Faulkner County judge, made all the calls here. Can you tell me what's going on? I hear there's a little bit of good news, right?
There is. Just a bit of clarification. We're set up at several locations along where the oil flowed. The oil originated in a neighborhood called the Northwood subdivision. Flowed into the storm drain system, into a drainage ditch, under Highway 365, under the interstate, and we have stopped at several locations along the way, but then ultimately we stopped it between the interstate and Lake Conway, thankfully.
Okay, and so what do you do moving forward? Because you're telling me you've contained it, but there's still some work that needs to be done, right?
We need to, right now we're in the process of strengthening the earthen dams we have set up, and an underflow culvert to allow water to drain through without releasing oil into the lake. Right now what we're doing is strengthening those earthen dams so that it'll be more permanent. And then when we finish that, we'll begin cleanup.
All right, there you have it, Scott and Christina. Still a lot of work to be done. Of course, we will keep you updated with this online and again at 10 o'clock. Back to you.
Before we go, we want to go back to our top story real quickly and check in with Jeanette Reyes, who is on the scene of that oil spill in Faulkner County. Jeanette.
Scott, I'm here with the latest on this oil spill, and I have a little bit of good news, and that's that it's been contained. Crews worked for several hours to make that happen, and they've avoided what their biggest fear was which was that it would leak into Lake Conway. That was a real concern for these officials here, and they tell me that that is highly unlikely, although that's not being completely ruled out. Right behind me is where the oil spill stopped. At this point, most of the officials are going to be leaving. Most of the departments are going to be leaving. ExxonMobil will be working on this long term because it was their pipeline. Coming up tonight on Nightside, I'll talk about some of the concerns that they're having moving forward. I have more information on that online at KTV.com, as well as tonight at 10. Back to you. Scott and Christina, it has been a long day for city crew members and Mayflower residents because of this oil leak, but now the worst has been avoided, and that was stopping it from reaching Lake Conway at this very moment. It is in a creek that is near Lake Conway, but it has been stopped with man-made dams. So, of course, this is good news, but there's still some stuff that's not so great going on, and that's almost 24 homes have been evacuated. So, of course, dozens of people are staying with relatives or getting help from the Red Cross. So understandably, what they want to know right now is how soon can they get back into their homes. And city officials tell me they're working hard to make that happen, but because this happened so recently, they can't give any exact dates.
Federal government has come in there. They've put blocks up to try to keep all the oil out of the lake. It's still remaining into that reservoir.
Well, we have Lake Conway, it's the biggest publicly owned lake in the state. It's a wonderful resource, many homes on it, lots of fish and wildlife. And so that was our concern. I would think it'll be at least a day. We'll probably just have to revisit that tomorrow. That may be optimistic, but I prefer to be optimistic about it.
And ExxonMobil is taking full responsibility for this. They tell us that they responded fairly quickly shortly after local officials came to the scene, but they will also be conducting a full investigation to see why this happened. They don't yet know what caused this pipe pipeline to burst. And they will also be answering questions as to whether or not this could have been prevented and if there's any potential for this to happen again. Back to you.
Jeanette, we know the residents there just want that oil out of there, but where does it go, or what do they do with it once they've pumped it out?
That's right. That's the most important thing, getting this cleaned up. And they're telling me that it's being vacuumed and taken to some containers so it can be safely away from these residents. But of course, that is going to take a lot of time. That is their main goal, and they're going to be starting in the neighborhood so that people can get in back into their homes as quickly as possible. ExxonMobil, again, will be doing most of that work, fortunately.